Everybody is the Nicholas Prasakis Chelsea channel. And well, I said last week that was the worst display of the season. This takes the cake. This was probably the worst game we've seen the Maresca era. Back-to-back displays, I've had to say that, and that's dreadful. I already got my anger out in the video I made on TikTok. Again, look, Nicholas Prasakis CFC. You can go follow on that. But this was just absolutely. It's a display that these guys have to look back and say, what is going on? Is it a confidence thing? Is it these injury pileups? Like, what is the main problem? What is the crux? Maresca said during last week that he was going to make rotation. It could have been 1, 2, 3 guys, and well, it ended up being 5 guys who got rotation. Felix came in, and Kunku came in, Disasi came in, Jorgensen came in, Madueke came back in. A lot of guys came back in. I predicted that Madueke would come back in. Didn't work. I predicted Felix would come in. Didn't work. I think those are the only 2 I predicted, but nothing worked. And it was just a display that I have no words for, because I was acting very confident. I was very confident in the preview before this game. I think most of us were somewhat feeling a little bit confident with a mix of nervousness, but when you get screwed over in the first 15 minutes with a penalty that is just not anywhere near a penalty, you can't do anything about that. We can't handle a guy diving, the referee seeing it, and then VAR being completely useless. It is not, it's not only to blame. They scored a goal from a Disasi error that wouldn't have happened at all probably if he doesn't make that error. They were defending the entire game. They were playing basically it was his hoofball in a way, but it was not a good defensive, offensive, midfield. Like, nothing about this game was good. Nothing about this game was good. It all started with the penalty at the top. And if that penalty isn't given, who knows how this game's complexity changes? Who knows? But we won't know. And we lose 2-0. Well, top of the lineup, let's see how I felt about these players. These are the ratings I gave out earlier. I don't think I made any changes based off of what I gave earlier. I think I've given the consensus that this is what I want to give. I think maybe I changed Enzo to a 4, but it doesn't matter. 4 or 5 is what I said earlier, and that's what I'm going to keep it as, because there's no reason to change it. Starting from the back, Jorgensen, Cucurella, Colwell, Tosin, Disasi, Caicedo, Enzo, Joao Felix, Cole Palmer, Noni Madueke, and Kunku up top. So, again, starting from the back, I thought Jorgensen honestly did pretty well with the chances that were put at him. He looked pretty comfortable still as a goalie when it came to passing. Looked so much more comfortable, and even the players looked more comfortable allowing Jorgensen to play from the back. You could tell at times they aren't comfortable giving the ball back to Sanchez in net, and they did it a lot in this game. So I honestly, it looks like in their feelings they know that Jorgensen's a better ball playing goalie, and he showed at times he made big saves. Delap had a few shots on target that he'd saved well. Obviously, he can't do anything to get the penalty. The penalty is not a penalty. He didn't do anything, so you can't discredit him. Mostly everybody's been saying the same thing. How is that a penalty? How is it a penalty? Every single comment section saying the same thing. Fans of everywhere are saying the same thing. How VAR is existing for nothing, just to screw teams over, just to make the wrong call. The ref should have looked at the monitor and been like, okay, he dies, yellow card for Delap. Should have been that easy, but it wasn't. Jorgensen gets a 6. He made good saves. He passed well. Can't do anything for the second goal either. So I can't say anything else. Cucurella gets a 5. Honestly, now that I think about it, he probably should get a 4. Didn't really do anything today. Complained about a lot of stuff. Just, again, another game that Cucurella was a mediocre one. Back-to-back ones, I really can't say he did anything. He started pushing into like a number 10 role at the end of the game, but it came too late. Like, I don't know why there wasn't much of a switch of a tactic earlier in the game. So, at that point, Cucurella gets a 4 or 5. I think I'll stick with my 5, but he was just so bang-on average. Cole and Tosin both get 4s. They were super mediocre in this one, below average performance from both of them. Tosin looked sloppy, Cole looked sloppy, Tosin looked worse. As a big 6'5" defender, to just get bullied at times by Liam Delap, who's supposed to be shorter and less physical than you. I mean, he's a physical striker, he presses well, but you're supposed to be bigger. You're a big guy who's got great size and strength. How are you getting bodied by Liam Delap so easily? Just not a good game from Tosin. Probably won't start the next one. If he does, then whatever. This was the worst this performance I think I've seen out of Sasia, which is crazy. Because, of course, he shot an own goal into the back of his net. He's made mistakes from this so many times, so many mistakes exactly like the one he made today, that it's hard to count on one hand. Probably have to add 3 more hands to your body if you want to count how many mistakes he's made like this. But it was incredible. Just an easy pass back to the goalie. It could have been. If he just passed a little bit harder to Tosin, it could have been. It could have been not a mistake. And this game's complexity again is once again changed. We might have more confidence. We looked decent. I won't say great. We looked decent to start the second half. It looked like we might have gotten a chance. We had a few chances to start the second half, and it didn't turn out to be anything because of the stupid mistake he made. He just can't play right back. I don't understand the obsession that Maresca has with Disasi playing right back. Look, might be okay as a center back. Might be okay. But that's the top. That's the bar. I can't see him playing anywhere else, and I don't understand how Champong didn't play in this one. Reece James came back into the folds, didn't get minutes, which I'm fine with, but Champong needed to come in. It's that simple. It really was that simple. Enzo, it just wasn't good. Nothing about his performance, and I think today in this one was really that great. His passing, his tackling wasn't that good. He complained a lot. He wasn't showing very captain material at the end of that game. It looked a lot sloppy from him, and he was talking too much to the refs, and he got himself a yellow. Just not good. Caicedo looked good at times. That's why he gets tied for the highest rating. He got a 6. I think it was a pretty good display overall from him. At times, he had that shot at the beginning that I really thought he was going to actually score that goal, that when he put over the post, but it didn't end up being a goal. But overall, he made good interceptions at times. He was in the right places. He never really is caught out of possession in the wrong spots. So that's why he does well. But Felix was not good. He had that goal called offside. Again, the complexity of this game is different if he scores that goal, but again, he doesn't score that goal. Instead, he is just barely offside, and he does nothing for the rest of the game. He was coming inside a lot during this game next to Palmer, but it didn't end up mattering. It didn't matter where he was, where he did. Nothing he did was really productive at all, and he gets a 4 out of 10 for it. Palmer, he gets a 5 out of 10 for a display that at least he sometimes showed his quality. He had a nice shot that hit off the post that Nkunku should have finished, but again, it didn't. It was a mediocre display from him, Palmer, too. This was probably up there for one of his worst displays, too, but when everybody else plays bad around you, it's hard to play good yourself. None matter what on the right, I had high hopes for him in this performance. He basically did nothing. I mean, on the right-hand side, when you have Disasi who can't even help you get forward, you're not going to have, you can't do anything. If you don't have a guy who can overlap, if you don't have a guy who can create another option for you close by, you're not going to do anything. Disasi's not right back. Malo Gusto, I would have even preferred in this one. I didn't want Malo Gusto playing, but it wouldn't have mattered. At least it was a right back playing. I didn't even think Disasi was going to get a sniff in this one. And he started. But not good for Madueke. He gets a 4. And Nkunku, like I said on my TikTok, top of the iceberg, top of the cake. He was horrible. 2 out of 10. The reason he gets a 2 out of 10 is just he was basically invisible. Absolutely invisible. Every time he got on the ball, he either lose it or it would end up doing nothing. He got stolen. This guy's not a striker. I've said it for the past 2 weeks now. Marguiu could have been better up top in this one. He had benched Nico Jackson, who showed at least a bit more flashiness in the second half when he got subbed in. He was at least making runs. Nico Jackson didn't look impressive by all means, but nobody looked impressive in this game. Nobody really looked impressive in this game. So that's why we all get mediocre, if not average ratings. Now, do I have high hopes now for 2025, of course, because I had said that the Crystal Palace game was on Wednesday. That's obviously not true. They play on Saturday at 10 a.m. So we finally play a Saturday match. But I still have high hopes. It's a reason to still be positive. You need to still be positive for the rest of the season. You can't drop your heads. Like Levi Colwell said, you can't drop our heads. I appraise him for saying all that, but it turned out to be a bunch of nonsense because we did drop our heads, especially after the pen went in. It was basically over and done with almost in their heads, in my opinion. But you got to go into the Crystal Palace game at Selhurst Park, a place that we've basically not been dropping points for so long. Is this one where we're just going to drop another 3 and lose another one? They can't let that happen. There's going to be there's going to be more rotation. I'm guessing we're going to be seeing guys like Neto and Sancho come back into the lineup, but that will be when we play on Saturday. Let me know what you guys think. I think that this was this was the worst result of the season. There's nowhere else. There's nothing else to describe it. I'm distraught. We're all distraught. We all can't believe what we just watched. See you guys for probably tomorrow. We'll have something out tomorrow about news, about overall everything about going on. Know what you guys think, though. Comment and like and subscribe. Look at the Instagram and TikTok. Nicholas Prostakis CFC on those platforms. See you guys soon. Peace.